Hello and welcome to an episode of Flying High with Flutter. I'm your host, Allenwyma. Today I am with Lukas Soukup. Hopefully I said that correctly. He is working at a startup that's created a very interesting app called Sumio, which helps you to manage your net worth. Hopefully I said that correctly. Lukas, welcome to the show. Why don't you give a quick introduction and help us to understand more about your product?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm a part of the team of three guys who are developing apps. We started with the first app, which is called Sumio. We are focusing on making finance apps independent, not connected with any spam or any shady stuff. We started the startup 2 years ago. We wanted to develop apps which would be private and focused on helping users with their money. The first app is called Sumio. The goal of the app is to help users with their financial planning, and we released the first version of the app, which is basically about calculating net worth and keeping track of your investments if you have any. So it's like a first iteration of the app. Our goal is to actually have the app for the financial planning, but we decided on the way that we should release the first version as soon as possible. So we cut the functionalities and focused on this first use case, which is the calculating of the net worth, and launch it. And we are collecting feedback and also working on the new functionalities. So we want to actually gradually add the functionalities in order to achieve the ultimate goal, which is to make Sumio the independent and private app that would help you to create your financial plan. So that's and we are based in Prague, in Europe, in Czech Republic. And as I said, we are a team of three. It's me. I'm acting as a product manager, as a designer, as a project lead, and also as an administrative person for the company. There is a developer and another guy who is helping with the law stuff, because he's an attorney in law in Prague, Czech Republic.
Wait, it's okay. You got only three people. It's a really nice app for only three people, and you really have one developer, right?
Yes, we have one developer, and I'm trying to help him with the designing, with the testing. I also like learning a bit of Flutter, but I have to say that I'm not a developer. I only can tweak some widgets. I can build the app. So I do this kind of thing that I prepare the releases to the app stores and do this kind of stuff. But I'm not actually coding the app in terms of developing the widgets and stuff. I tweak them sometimes. I take care of the translations, App Store presence, and all the other stuff which is not connected with the technical part of the app.
Now, can we hear more about your background yourself? Because I'm kind of curious about, who are you that you can just start writing up code? I mean, not to say you can't. I mean, what's kind of your background? When did you kind of start getting into technology?
Sure. My background is in project management. I was working for General Electric in Czech Republic and in US also. So I was leading e-commerce projects. I was doing consultancy work. I was developing, for example, payment gateway in Czech Republic, working on the internet bankings. I mean the direct channels for banks. So mostly in this kind of field of technologies. And I started my own company doing the consultancy work, and then because I wanted to develop, I was interested in this world of mobile apps, and I was actually also working as a consultant for some projects for mobile apps. So I saw this opportunity to do mobile apps, and I don't know how is it going in other markets than Czech Republic, but based on my research is that it's quite similar. And what I mean is that the financial advisors are basically sellers of products. And if you want some kind of advice, or if you want to create a financial plan, at the end of the day, it's always about buying some insurance or buying some investment products. So we saw that this could be a chance to make it differently, to make the financial plan also about some advice that would guide you on your way to achieve your goals and make it make it transparent, make it private. So that's where it somehow connected, and I decided to invest some of my time into this adventure, and we started this this company. The company is called Fiduciary Labs, and the goal is actually to develop these privately focused apps for finance. And my background actually is not technical, so I was actually working in the IT, but as a project manager and consultant for projects. So I was just, you know, on the side of the people who are organizing the work, creating the plans for the work and stuff. And I was working for banks mostly and IT companies.
Now, when you were doing project management before, were you also kind of rolling up your sleeves and also kind of touching the code too, or this is your first time ever doing something like that?
I was doing websites, if it could be considered as a coding. So I was developing websites, and I started to learn React because I wanted to do some more fancy. I wanted to use more fancy technologies for the development on the web apps, and but I'm more inclined to the design of the stuff. So I'm focusing more on like the user experience and user interface design rather than the actual coding.
I mean, I don't know. Like I mean, it's great that you can roll up your sleeves and kind of get your hands dirty, and I appreciate that. It's not. They're definitely two different types of mindsets, right? If you're working with code, I mean, since you do more design, I mean, when you start trying to kind of tweak the code to make it work for your design, do you feel like very complicated, or do you feel it's actually pretty easy when you're working with Flutter?
Actually, it took me some time to get the concept, to understand the structure of the code. I think what I see very often is that when you read some documentation, the documentation is basically written by people who take for granted some kind of like concepts of code and stuff. And for me, it was not so obvious to, or I mean, in general, I think for people who are not like familiar with coding, I think it could be a bit challenging to read the documentation and to understand the concept. But if you put an effort in it, I think it's then understandable. So it took me some time to get into it, but I'm now able to tweak the widgets that my colleague is developing for the app. I'm able to do the translations. I'm actually able to build the app and distribute it to stores. So you know, generate the certificates. I'm using Xcode to set up the functionalities we need for the app. For like some, I don't know, like now we are developing the functionality to the backup and sync, so iCloud and stuff. So I think it's quite straightforward once you actually somehow get the basic concept of it. And I think it's very important to understand it. I often meet people who are like trying to do IT projects, but they don't know how the code even look like, you know. And I think it must be very hard for them to then somehow, you know, not only talk to programmers or coders, but even like to make an estimation, like what does it mean, you know, to develop a code, and how to actually make it, you know, live, you know, what does it mean to really install it, you know, what kind of like obstacles you can meet on your way to make the code working, make all the packages and all the setup behind the code make work. So I think it helps me, I believe.
So do you remember before when you're probably asking developers how long would it take for them to build something, and they could never give you a really clear answer?
Exactly. Yeah,
now
yeah,
do you
sure.
start to understand why, right?
Yeah. And also actually for the speed of the development, I realized how it's because when I'm for example trying to develop something myself, I know how many questions I start to have, like, okay, so because there are so many options how you can do stuff. So to get a really good like specification, or to have a really good like some material which we can use and understand, okay, so this should do this, and this is the use case, and these are the possible edge cases, and these edge cases can be solved like this and that. So if someone is able to give you this kind of material, then it's actually like, I mean, effective to do the code if you just got like some a very high level specification that the app should do this and that. Then I think this is when starts the problems, because you somehow try to make it work, but the way how you understand it, and it could be completely different from the way how it was intended. So I guess this kind of a gray zone between like someone who is like making up the functionalities or have this use case or have this like the thing that he or she wants to make, and the developers who are trying to like fulfill this kind of vision. I think this is something that I learned, that it's necessary to have a clear documentation. I try to develop the prototypes in Figma, really think through possible, edge cases that can happen, and make it as easy as possible for my colleague who is developing the app. So it's for him just, that he can focus really on the technical stuff and not think what does it mean or how it should work.
Now, can we kind of roll back a little bit? We're talking about how much you have been enjoying Flutter and how it's been helpful, but can we talk about like the process of how you guys went actually choosing Flutter? Because you did talk a little bit before the show about how you weren't really sure if this was the right technology. Can you talk about that and how you guys managed to figure out what was the best choice for you?
Yep. Yes. So there was this idea that, okay, so we saw that, okay, we think that there is this opportunity because the market with financial advising, we think it's broken. I think there is this opportunity to make it, as I said, more transparent, make it private, and make it work better. And we also saw that there is this boom of like mobile apps. So let's make a mobile app that would, be available for people who would like to get some financial advice. And we were thinking, okay, so this is the high level, like a business case, and so how to do it. So we are a small team. We don't have any venture capital financing or anything like that. So we must be very efficient in terms of like how we are going to spend our energy and time, and also some money on the development. So we met this with our colleague who is now part of the company, the developer, and we were discussing how we could do it. So the way is to develop really like the native code for iOS, the native code for Android, but it means that the budget and the time for do it would be this. And then what is the advantage? Do we need to use some kind of like a special technologies or special kind of APIs that the native platforms offer? And we realized that we probably don't need them. Actually, we don't need like any special APIs that iOS or Android is offering. So we decided, okay, so what are the other options? And there are these like platforms which like React Native and Flutter, and some others, of course. And the developer who is actually now part of the company was like interested in the technology. He was also experimenting with this technology, with Flutter, for himself, for his own projects, for his own personal projects. So we met and said, okay, so let's try to do like a quick experiment if it's going to work, and how it would look like to develop the app using the Flutter technology. And we were able to have really something running in basically for him it was like, I think, few Mondays. So basically, let's say like 1 or 2 weeks, we had the first like some kind of like a rough version of what we were like discussing. And that was actually, for us the proof that it could work, and the way how we would like to do it. So we would like to really like, at the beginning we thought that, okay, like we will develop this like a big app that would create the financial plan, and there will be lots of functionalities. And on the way we realized that it's really too much work, and so we decreased the scope of the web, but we have the technology that enables us to do this. So what was nice and what works for us pretty good still is that we are able to continually like add new widgets, add new functionalities, and it works pretty well. And that's also one of the things that was quite like the advantage of Flutter. What I see is that you can use these pre-built packages for lots of stuff. So we were able to save some time because we started to use, for example, these Cupertino widgets. We developed some packages ourselves, or our developer developed some packages, for example, for HTTP calls, some own, some like for specifically for our purpose, but still we were able to use like lots of stuff which is already done. Also, we wanted to use these external services for handling the subscription. So we use RevenueCat, and there is like solid SDK for the Flutter from RevenueCat. So that was something which was like kind of like which we were afraid of, like if we would be able to really do this subscription kind of business. And with the RevenueCat, it proved to be quite straightforward without any like effort which would be considered as like dramatic. And so that was it. We saw that this could be the way for us because it would enable us to really develop the app the way how we want it.
And did you guys also see a benefit that you can? I mean, you're only targeting iOS and Android at the moment, right?
Yes, but we are considering to actually launch the web app too, and for the it's actually interesting that the app works on the Macs too. Actually, on these new Macs with the new chip, the app works too.
So are you considering to also launch it on desktop too?
Yes.
But are you? I mean, for sure you're going to go to web, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not. Are you? But you're not 100% sure you're going to go for desktop?
It works on desktop. You can try if you have this new Mac with the new chips, it should work.
Yeah, but are you actually going to release the app on desktop though?
It is released.
Really? You released the desktop app already?
It was possible, yes. I have an old Mac, so I cannot test it. But I know that some user like asked me, and I sent him the link, and then I suppose that it works. But we don't promote it. We promote the mobile version of the app so far, and we didn't do any adjustment for the desktop and anything. So it's just possibility that in the App Store you can actually say it gives you like information so that the app it's possible to release the app on the new Macs with this M1 processor, I believe. And if you just click yes, then the store does it, and it should work.
Oh, yeah, okay. I think you're talking about I think on M1 you can natively launch the mobile apps.
Yes.
Right, okay. But I was curious if you're actually going to release a Sumio app specifically for desktop, because you can do that, right?
This is what we would like to do. I think at the moment the focus is on the mobile apps, but as we will finish the functionality for creating the financial planning, so the ultimate goal that we would like to achieve, then we would definitely go and start to release the app on the other platforms, because I believe that this is one of the great advantages of using Flutter, that it enables you to release it on the other platforms.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, have you actually tried to run it on your native Mac before, or not?
I cannot do it. I don't have this new Mac with M1, so unfortunately I cannot do it.
Okay, and you're working on your Mac, right? So does it mean you're running it on the iOS simulator, or are you running it actually on your iPhone?
I do both. I do both. I test it on my own iPhone, and I also use the simulator. I use the simulator for Android. I use the simulator for for iOS, and I try different types of phones, and it works pretty good. So far so good. Well, I must say that sometimes I actually, when there's but again, I guess that's because of I'm not a technical person, so I sometimes struggle when there is a new release of Flutter. I have to clean all the pods and everything, but I have a script, so it's for me, it's just a matter of like few minutes, and I learned not to panic when it doesn't work, and I just clean the folders and build everything from scratch, and it works fine. So that's cool.
Yeah, but you did also pick up React also, right? He's saying that before.
I started to learn it. Yeah.
Now, do you feel that Flutter and React are very similar? Because sometimes I feel like they're a little bit similar with this idea of composition of components, right?
Yes. I think it's the ideas behind it are some like similar, that you are developing, like in terms of like React, you create these components. In terms of Flutter, you develop the widgets. I think also the state is somehow like the ideas or the philosophy behind states could be like similar, or how you manage states. So yes, I think it's very similar. But I must really say, full disclosure, I'm really not developing the widgets, so I'm not able to answer really like questions regarding like how the creation of widgets work. What I do is that I tweak them. So for example, I was tweaking recently like that I wanted to make some text on some widget uppercase, so I was just using this like to uppercase, on some text fields. So this is basically where I'm now. And what I do is actually we are using different services for different stuff. For example, we are using Lukaz for our translations. So again, I'm running these scripts which enable me to download new versions of the texts, and then I do some tweaks there and stuff. So this is where I am. I also like that we use like some YAML files for some kind of like data that we use. We have like data for the stock exchanges. So I'm editing these files there. Yeah, or I'm adding like the new currencies when there is a new cryptocurrency. I'm also there is like a YAML file that I update with these new like cryptocurrencies and stuff. So I think it's pretty basic and like stuff which is not like very like fun for real programmers, and that's why Tomáš, who is our developer, is giving me these tasks because it's not something funny for him, or it's not entertaining. So I do these boring tasks he delegated to me, and I learn how to do them. And I feel good that I can help him, and I feel good that I can like also like not only do this kind of like marketing and design stuff, but I can also help him with doing something with the code in the app.
When you were learning Flutter, did you find it very difficult, or it just took like maybe a week for you to kind of wrap your head around it? Like, how was the learning process?
Mm-hmm. I saw some videos. Tomáš, the developer, he did some like he was doing like lectures about Flutter on some conference. So I was watching him basically doing these demonstrations and how he was presenting the concept of the Flutter, the widget kind of philosophy. Then I was reading the documentation, so I was like installing the stuff on my computer, learn how to run it. And on the way, I was learning how to use it. So I was basically forced by the thing that we, as I said, started to use these different services for different stuff, like Localize or CodeMagic for releases. So I learned actually how to use the Flutter in order to be able to run the builds or update the text of the app. And that helped me to really, it forced me to spend some hours to really go deep and understand the folder structure, and okay, so where are the widgets and where are the functions and where are the YAMLs that we need, some messages and stuff. So this is what helped me. And then also the things that happen on the way that something doesn't work right now. Right, I want to run my simulator and it doesn't work, and it gives you some kind of an error. So I didn't want to go to Tomáš and ask him about like why it doesn't work. What does this mean? So I was Googling it. I was searching how to solve it. And I realize, which I guess you like developers and programmers know very well, that you can find almost answer for like 99% of your questions, because you are not the first one who is having some kind of issue. So I realized that you really can get these kind of instructions, and there's lots of documentation which you can find on the internet, Stack Overflow, of course, and stuff. So yeah, so this is how I did it. How I learned the basics, I think.
Now, do you think you can actually learn how to make your own app now that you've been doing this for some time?
I was trying it. I was like experimenting, because there are these courses on the internet where they basically teach you how you can learn how you can do your own basic app, where you can run the app. You can just put there like the first text widget and do some kind of stuff. But I my vision for some apps, and we would like to develop some other apps. We have these other ideas for example, the app that would help with your if you collect something, so it would be like the manager of your collections, or the app that would be focused on really like on managing your portfolio if you invest something. And my vision is always like I really like design it, and I really see the final polish app, and when I try to do it myself, when I was trying to do it like really with these basic, you see the really like the raw stuff, and it's always for me like a disappointment, that I'm so like low in the knowledge of doing the stuff. So I'm more like focused on doing the design and make sure that it makes sense and it works well, that the user experience is fine. And so I'm kind of like my ambition to really learn Flutter in order to be able to develop the apps myself. It's currently, I must say, on hold. And I'm more focused now on making sure that I'm really like able to do the operations of the app completely on my own. So I don't need Tomáš, it's the name of the developer. I don't need Tomáš to help me with the building. I don't need to build the app to distribute it in the stores. I don't need him to ask him to help me with the translations and all these kind of like maintenance stuff. So I want to make sure that this is what I can do, and I'm able to do it on my own. And maybe in the future, I see how the platform will grow and how it will be in future. Maybe I will consider it to also learn more about the coding part of it.
So maybe we can talk a little bit more about because like you said, you're not the most technical person on the team. I would like to talk more about what do you guys consider Flutter like? What do you guys consider it to be like the best things that's really helped you guys to build your product? Right? Was it because of the hot code reload that you can easily make changes and see if it works well or not? Was it the ease of use? Is there any kind of things that maybe top 3 things you think really made it the best choice for you guys?
I think the first would be that it's very cross-platform. So if there would be not Flutter and we would have to decide, we would probably choose one of the native platforms. So because we had limited budget and time frame for doing the app, so we would choose that we would go and develop the app for either Android or either iOS using the native platform. But since there was this opportunity to use the Flutter, and it seemed to be like a stable version, and as I was trying to explain, we were able to have like a first version of the app pretty fast. So we saw that it could really work. So we decided that we would go with Flutter and this thing that we can have one code base and be able to have app for iOS and Android. I think it's great. So I would say that this is the first main reason why we are using Flutter. The second reason is I would say the Dart language, because again, I must say that I cannot compare with many languages Dart, but it based on how we discuss it with Tomáš and also what I'm able to do, it seems pretty easy to grasp the basic concepts, how you format the widget and how you actually construct it. So this would be the second reason. And the third would be I would say the packages, that there is this I think now quite a big library of different packages that can help you to solve some of your problems, or can help you to achieve some of the use cases that you want. So that's, I would say, the third reason why it's still like quite attractive for us to do it with Flutter.
Now, do you guys have any bad experiences using Flutter? The long silence sounds good, but I mean, there must be something.
Yeah, but I really have to think, because I feel a bit like that I can try to explain, but I'm not sure if it's going to be valid for your audience. We run the code and it works fine. I distribute it for example, in the Play Store, and I'm getting like messages, like warnings from the Play Store that we are using like these it's not errors, but these are like warnings about some stuff. Again, when I consult it with Tomáš, we usually come up with conclusion that this is really just something that is just more or less like the information that something is changing, and that we probably need to maybe update in future or something. But I see that it's not like I try to be maybe sometimes like maybe make it too perfect, because I would love if it would be like super clean. if I would, I'm always like a bit worried when I see some kind of a warning or some kind of like this kind of messages. But again, maybe it's because my background is more in the design, not in the development side. So I would love it if it would be like if it would be clean and clear what you could do, because when we were investigating something, we realized that it's probably some old message from the Play Store. That the Play Store is saying us that we should update our package for, I don't know, payments, but we already updated it, but to some higher version that was in the Play Store. So some kind of like these things that like I think are, to me, something that I wish there would be just like some kind of a check that, okay, it works, everything is fine, or these are 4 things that you should check and improve or change. And if you do it, then it's clean, clear. Yeah, maybe this. Also, maybe I mentioned that sometimes we were using these packages, and even if the package was like has a good rating and seemed to be like good, we realized that it didn't work for us in terms of like quality of the code, or maybe it was also like there were like some problems, like when you combine different packages together, that they don't like it. So this kind of thing we also found on the way to develop the app, that this happened too.
Okay, yeah.
So you must be careful when you pick your packages, I think, and you must really think it. Okay, so this could solve the problem, but maybe not. You shouldn't just make an assumption that okay, this package says that it's for like charts, and it has like lots of votes. It's like it seems to be used by, I don't know, like thousands of developers, so it must work. It cannot. You should really make sure that you try it and make like some contingency, like make some kind of like a test before you try to really use it.
So basically, some of the more popular packages you thought would be a good match because it's popular, well used, etc.
Yes.
Then you went to use it and it didn't fit your use case, right?
Or they weren't really like not easy to configure or use them as we would expect. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like both the good and bad of Flutter is that Flutter's only as good as the packages, right? And if the packages are not good, then obviously Flutter cannot be good. Something like that.
Yeah, and also I think maybe this is something that, again, I understand that maybe Google is trying to really like make it easy for anyone to develop to publish the packages and make them available for use. And I believe they are trying to make this kind of like a system where you get points or votes and make it clear what packages are popular and how they do. But I think maybe if they would introduce some kind of like a real quality checks, or some kind of like I don't know. I'm not at the moment. I don't have like some special like solution how to do it. But it would be great if there would be some kind of like a real review of the packages, or they would be like premium packages. That you would make sure that they are really like tested. And I know that there are actually, you can see that they are like they go through some probably approval, but maybe this is something that could be maybe make even better.
Yeah, I think I've seen some rating system like on the scanning of the packages, like how good the code is or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean that's really tough to say. I mean, it's kind of like I know what is good, but I don't really know how to say what is good, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have to kind of like.
Yeah.
I forgot what the saying is, but it's like I know what I like. It's like I don't know what I like, but I know what I don't like when I see it. Something like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand what you mean, and yeah, that's a really tricky problem to solve. But I guess one way to do that is like if you do see something that's not so good, you can try to, what's the word for that? Submit a patch or update for that package and see if you can make it better, right?
Yeah, and we developed our own packages as well and make them available. So, I think the ecosystem behind Flutter, I think this is also something which is very valuable. But again, you shouldn't take it for granted that when there is a package which says that is solving something that it's really solved. Sometimes you really have to test it and maybe realize that this is not what you really need. So. Also, one of the things that I'm just thinking about how you asked me about how we were considering the Flutter. The one thing actually that is still some kind of like, which I have somewhere on in the back of my head is just, I think if the Google is going to support the development of Flutter, because I was reading some kind of like a blog post of people who are saying yeah this is like another project of Google. They are going to do it for like a few years, and then they decide that this is not going to work for them, and they abandoned it. And all of you who are developing these apps will be like lost because there will be no support for it. So I don't know if you know more about it, but I was worried about this kind of thing because we would wish that there would be still this kind of like support and dedication from Google, so there are still like engineers who are making new releases of Flutter and making it better and enhancing the platform. So I wish they will continue and make it better.
I feel like it's accelerating. Have you guys actually updated to Flutter 3 yet?
Yeah.
Did you see all of the release notes for Flutter 3?
No, I didn't.
You should definitely take a look at it. Like, it may be interesting for you guys because I actually went ahead and invested into a foldable phone now because I think these are going to be, maybe I'm speaking too crazy, but I feel like these are going to be the future, right? Because I feel that, yes, we're more mobile, but at the same time, you need more space sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I can only see this kind of stuff getting bigger. And with Flutter 3, they actually introduced a little bit more support for foldables. And that came from Microsoft, not from Google, from Microsoft.
Okay.
So there's more and more companies submitting things. Ubuntu also submitted some stuff a while back. It's getting more and more outside development, right? So even if Google does drop it, there's a lot of people who are invested heavily into Flutter.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't see Google ever dropping it. But I think that this has become more than just a Google project. Yes, Google's still 80, 90%, but with Microsoft even putting effort into it and giving it this kind of support, I think that means something, right?
Yeah, it's definitely good to see that the brands, some big companies are developing apps using Flutter, because it makes me think that, okay, if these companies made this decision to go with Flutter and develop apps using Flutter, then it's probably a good sign that it's going to last more than just a year or two. Yeah.
All right, so basically, we can sum this all up saying that you guys are 100% sure this is the right tool for what you guys wanted to do, right?
At the moment, we think that this is the right tool for us, and I would say that it always depends on the use case you are solving, right? So I think that when you are trying to develop an app which would really depend on some special APIs that iOS provides or Android provides, then I don't know if it would be the right platform for you. But for our use case, which is basically that the app is the calculator and the tracker of stocks, investments, your assets and liabilities. So we don't need any like special augmented reality stuff or any like these things that probably are special for the native platforms. For us, it works very well, and also the way that we are able to maybe in the future even like launch on the desktop and web. It's from the one code base. It's crucial for us, especially for us because we are, as I said, we are just team of 3, small startup, no venture capital funding, nothing. So we are trying to be as efficient as it's possible.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Sumio, right? So is Sumio, is it available for free for anybody to download and to play with?
Yes, we made. It's a freemium model, so it's free to download. So you can download it on Google Play Store and Apple App Store for free. And the app is private. That's one of the things that we decided to do, and I believe that it's quite not so usual. That we basically do not collect any private data. So what we know about our users is just what the stores will tell us, which is basically just the information that someone gave you some rating, that someone downloaded it. And we also know, because we have this integration with the revenue cat, that someone bought the app, but we don't know who, we don't know, we just know that it was someone using iPhone with this kind of iOS. There is just a hash of the user. We don't know who was it and stuff, and we don't collect any DAI data. So if you enter any data into the app, like if you want to track how many stocks you have, how many Bitcoin or how many ETF funds you own, we don't get this data. We don't use this data anyhow because we don't have them basically. So unless you contact us by email and ask us for some questions with how to add something in the app, we don't know anything about our users. So we were afraid that because the app is about finance, that people would be worried to share or put the information in the app if it would be other way, if it would be not like private. What I would like to say is that we believe that this is like a big thing, the privacy kind of thing. Apple is talking about it a lot. What we are realizing actually, it's that it's not so important for our users. So I would be really interested in this kind of discussion with someone, how they see it. Maybe someone has a different experience, but our experience so far, and we thought that this kind of like a value proposition that the app is private would be like a big. It seems that it's not so important. It's important for some people, but I would say it's like 5% of people are really interested, and they like say that this is a great, that it's private, that this is what they wanted. But then there are the rest of the users, and there are many users who are saying that they would probably have no problem to, because they are using now apps which are collecting the data, and when I'm discussing it with them, or when I'm like chatting on, for example, Reddit and stuff, they don't seem to be like, they don't see the problem there. They don't consider it as like as an issue that you basically enter all your financial kind of thing to some web application, and the web application not only can be like hacked, but they basically can do the data. They can do anything with the data that you enter, and it seems that people are still like not very concerned about this. Maybe that's because we are somehow got to the point when we are like, okay, that everyone is tracking us, we are sharing all of the information on the internet, and we just don't care. And okay, so then another app wants to get my financial data, it's free, okay, I give them my data. But it's something that's, I was hoping that we could be interesting by this kind of value proposition, that the app is private, that we don't collect any data, we don't have this kind of thing, and it seems to be not so important for users. They ask us actually that we would like that they ask us to develop these connections to banks and wallets and stuff, which we plan to do, but which means that then you basically will share with Plate or with some other provider of the data your like credentials. And it seems that it's another problem, that the benefit that I get something for free or it's automated is like bigger, or it's considered to be like a better than the feeling that you are like safe in terms of your private data.
That's quite interesting. For me, I mean, I work with Plaid on a project right now, and I feel so strange. Like, I have to put in my bank credentials in order for me to do what I need to do, and I'm like, wow, that's very scary. And actually, they save it, right? Because they have to be able to log into your bank account and pull information. I feel a little bit worried about that. I mean, I guess it's safe because I don't really hear anybody really hacking Plaid. But I still feel nervous, like, about entering in my stuff and letting them go through my bank account.
I believe we are exploring it now. So we are looking at different kind of these providers, because we will be never able to develop these connections with the banks ourselves, because there are like thousands of them, and so we will have to make some connection using Plate or other players which are offering these APIs. But we want to do it the way that it will be secure and private for people. And so far, we are just trying to find out how to do it this way, because we still think that the value proposition of our app, that it's private, it's strong, and it will, in the time, it will become stronger and stronger. So yeah, but it's just interesting that that this kind of thing, that when I talk to some users and I mentioned that Sumio is freemium, so you can actually use the app for free, but there is a limit of how many assets you can track. So there is 5 assets that you can track using Sumio. So for example, if you have like stocks, some cryptocurrencies, some ETF funds, blah blah. So there is only like 5 items that you can actually add to the app and track it for free. And if it's more, then we ask you to subscribe for the premium. And when I was talking to users and they were explaining me, yeah, but when I use the other apps, it's free, and okay, but you basically give them all the data and information, and then they are like trying to convince you to invest in this kind of stuff because they are basically connected with the broker, and so basically they are like trying to constantly like with ads, with anything, like convince you that you should start to invest in this or that. And we don't do it. There are no ads in the Sumio. We don't spam. So, but I think this is something that's still like, my experience is that most users, at least the ones that I spoke with, are not considering as an issue to really like give away data.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, so subscription is what will actually unlock? So it definitely unlocks unlimited assets, right? Is there anything else?
And market data, and you can create, because you basically can sort out the assets by categories. So there are some default categories, and in order to create your own category, so for example, if you want to sort out your stocks or cryptocurrencies that you own by some special category, so you want to create a category because you own stocks in Europe and in Asia, and some US stocks, and some stocks are in US dollars, some stocks you have in euros or in British pounds. So you want to have this kind of like a structure, so you see the allocation of your assets, which the Sumio actually allows you to see the allocation and actually play with the categories. So if you want to do this kind of like a more sophisticated sorting, then we also ask you to pay for the premium. And the market data, there is some kind of like a limit, because we offer like that you can actually explore the market data. We use APIs. There is more than 50 stock exchanges all around the globe. So Europe, US, Asia, Australia, Africa too. So you can basically search for different kind of stocks in the app. But again, if you are the free user, we want to have some kind of a cap, so there's some kind of a limit that you can actually, I don't know how many. It's not like some hard cap. So if you would use it really heavy, then you would again ask you to subscribe for premium, because basically this is how we pay for the data. We as a provider, we have again the limit for the data. So that's why we introduced this kind of cap for the free users.
Now, how are you guys? Are you guys actually making enough money on this, or you guys are just getting by, or how's the revenue coming in? Has it been pretty successful?
We have we are trying to make it so it's sustainable, but at the moment we are still like developing the app. So for us, this is like more or less like the first version made to make the experience with like getting into the stores, make the distribution, learn actually how to market the app. So what we are doing now with the first version of the app is that we are learning the process of like having the app and market it. And we are trying to like, we already have some like paying customers, so we have premium customers who are paying for some Sumio, which is great. But to make it a real business, what we wanted to make this is not where we are at the moment. Honestly, this is what we believe that we need to really fulfill the mission of the app, because when I'm talking to users, they basically are telling me the features that we are planning to introduce. So I guess we will have to finish the features that we want in order to get where we want to be. I hope that it will work for us this way.
Okay. Is there anything coming up on the short term that we should know about for the app? Like any kind of features that are coming out?
Yes, I'm just finishing the translations to other languages, because so far the app is in English and in Czech, because we are from Czech Republic. But we are now preparing the translation to German, French, Spanish, and Polish. So what I would like to do I think it should be in 2 weeks, is to make sure that the translations are correct and release the new version. And also what we are working now to add there is that we enable to track like assets like real estate, stocks, crypto, ETF funds, and we want to add the precious metals. So if you own some gold or silver, you will be able to track these too. So this is another functionality that we want to add. Again, it's now we are developing it.
So after you guys become very popular, you're going to be using this app to track your own net worth when you guys become $1 billion company?
Well, our ultimate goal is really to make it like a financial planner, so it will be, I think the tracking of net worth is like fun to see, if the overall net worth is like growing, or how is going, how is your assets and liabilities allocated. But I think the more useful and the mission of the app basically is to really help you to get to the goals where you want to achieve. Because the hypothesis that I have is that most of us have some kind of a dream, right? That you want to have your own house, you want to travel around the world, you want to get financially independent, you want to retire basically. But I don't know many people who would really know what does it mean. Like, if you want to buy a new house, is it that you need to have $1 million, or is it that you need to have $100,000, or what if you want to get your retirement, what kind of like money you need to really be financially independent. So how much is enough, for you? So this is something that I think not many people know. I don't know, basically no one who was actually thinking about it. But when I talked about with everyone is interested actually how much it would be, like, because everyone has some kind of a dream, some kind of a goal. So what I would like to achieve with the app is that the app would give you this kind of answer. So it would be a tool for you to really say that you want to achieve this goal, like, let's say, financial independence, or buying a house, or becoming debt-free. And the app would prepare for you, or help you prepare for you, the way how you can get it. So it would help you to calculate what does it mean, specifically for your situation. So because you would calculate the net worth, you would calculate, where you are, but it would also help you how to get to where you want to be. And then the next stage would be that we would again help you to really to coach you actually to get there. So the app would actually help you to continue on this way to achieve the goal. So it would give you the information that in order to achieve your financial independence, you need to save or invest or to make this kind of money. for this kind of years, the app would actually help you on the way with some tips how to do it, with some maybe advice of someone. We are discussing maybe we could involve some real people who would actually become like assistants, so you would be able to ask for like assistance if you would need on the way. So this is the mission of the app is that it will help you to achieve the goals.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I'm taking to actually download it now because I actually also want to figure out where I am, and also, I have a couple of goals, right? It seems like, at least in US, it's like more and more expensive to buy a house everywhere, all over the place. So I really need to think about how much I need to save. I don't know about Prague. Or Czech Republic also the same?
Yeah, it's getting crazy prices, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I need one of those dollar homes in Detroit, maybe. Have you heard of those places before? Have you seen dollar homes before?
I've seen dollar homes in Italy, actually. I've seen some I don't know if it was like some videos on YouTube. Like they are like villages in Italy where you can buy a house for €1 or something like that.
I don't know how they are in Italy or Europe, but in the US, I mean, you buy it for $1, but the property is so crap you have to basically spend twice as much as you probably would have bought it as decent in time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lure you in with that dollar. Yeah, I think, now that you mentioned it, I think I do remember this about dollar or euro homes in Italy. Now it's starting to sound a little bit familiar. I feel like I heard this before. Well, I thank you again so much. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we sign off? Because I feel like we have a lot of info from you, and it's really great to hear about Sumio and how you guys are using Flutter.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm sorry if I was if I disappointed some of your audience because I'm not I wasn't able to talk very technical about some technical aspects. If anyone would be interested in our experience with Sumio, I would be more than happy to answer some questions. I remember when I was I was in some forums about Flutter, and I was posting about Flutter. The other developers were interested in our packages and stuff, so we would be happy to share. Tomáš, our developer, is developing some packages on his own, and he I think he's making them available for free. So if someone would need some kind of advice or maybe more experience, we are happy to share it with our Flutter experience, with our Flutter adventure.
Yeah, please. Maybe if you guys write a couple of blog posts and let people know about the stuff you guys are working on, I think people would be very interested to hear and maybe be inspired by you guys.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it. Hopefully we can have you back again for your next project, or if there's anything bigger for Sumio or Fidelity.
Thanks a lot, and have a nice time. Have a nice weekend.